The entire baseball world was watching Dodger Stadium hold its breath. The Blue Jays and the Dodgers had played the second longest game in World Series history. Every bullpen arm was empty. Every fan was exhausted. Every player on both sides was running on nothing but adrenaline and willpower. And then, on a full-count sinker, in the dead of night, in the 18th inning of Game 3 of the World Series, Freddie Freeman lifted the ball to straightaway center field. He jogged to first base, uncertain. Then both hands went to the sky. Walk-off. World Series win. Again. Not once, but twice in back-to-back World Series. The only player in the history of baseball to ever do it. A grand slam in 2024. A solo shot in the 18th inning in 2025. Moments so iconic that fans across Los Angeles tattooed his image onto their bodies. Moments so defining that they will be replayed for generations. And now, in February 2026, just months after that second miracle, there is a question forming quietly in baseball circles. A question nobody wants to ask out loud. A question that is uncomfortable and complicated and heartbreaking all at the same time. Is Shohei Ohtani going to end Freddie Freeman's time in Los Angeles? Today, we break down the story behind that question. Every verified fact. Every contract detail. Every piece of what is a genuinely complicated situation, and one of the most fascinating storylines heading into the 2026 season. Before we talk about the future, we need to talk about what Freeman has given this city. Because the context matters enormously. When Freeman arrived in Los Angeles in 2022, signing a 6-year, $162 million contract, he was already one of the best first basemen in baseball. A 9-time All-Star. A 2020 NL MVP. A World Series champion with the Braves in 2021. He was coming home to Southern California, he grew up in Orange County, and he was joining a Dodgers team that needed one final piece. What followed was 4 years of consistent, elite production. Since arriving in LA, Freeman has hit .310 with a .391 on-base percentage and .516 slugging, with 96 home runs. A 149 WRC+, the fifth best mark among all players in baseball over that stretch. He was an all-star in every single one of his Dodgers seasons. But it was October that turned Freddie Freeman into something beyond a great baseball player. It turned him into a legend. Game 1 of the 2024 World Series. Freeman was playing on a badly sprained ankle. The kind of injury that would keep most players out of the lineup entirely. He had received 6 full days of rest after the NLCS extended to 6 games, and when he finally took the field against the Yankees, he was mobile enough to leg out a first-inning triple. Then came the 10th inning. 2 outs. Down to their last strike. And Freddie Freeman turned on a Nestor Cortes fastball and drove it 413 feet, a walk-off grand slam, the first in World Series history. The image of Freeman mid-stroll, face stoic, right hand pointed upward, became one of the most iconic photographs in baseball history. Fans tattooed it on their bodies. He signed 4 of those tattoos himself. Then, 1 year later, Game 3 of the 2025 World Series. 18 innings. The longest World Series game since Max Muncy's walk-off in 2018. Freeman came to the plate with the game tied at 5 in the 18th, full count. A sinker over the middle of the plate. And he lifted it to center field for his second World Series walk-off in consecutive years, something no player in the history of baseball had ever done. After the game, he said simply, "To have it happen again a year later, it's kind of amazing, crazy. I'm just glad we won. This is the player we are talking about. This is what Freddie Freeman has meant to Los Angeles." And yet, here is where the story gets complicated. Freeman's contract with the Dodgers expires after the 2027 season. He is 36 years old. He has 2 years left on his deal, earning $27 million per year, and then he becomes a free agent. Now, under normal circumstances, a player of Freeman's quality, coming off 2 consecutive World Series championships and back-to-back walk-off home run moments for the ages, would be a lock to be re-signed. A no-brainer. A player you build around and keep forever. But the Dodgers are not operating under normal circumstances. Because on the other side of the clubhouse is Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers in December 2023. He is locked in as the team's designated hitter through 2033. He is not going anywhere. He is not going to move positions. He is not going to give up at-bats. He is Shohei Ohtani, 4-time MVP, 55 home run season, two-way superstar, the most valuable player in the history of baseball contracts. And here is the specific problem ESPN's Buster Olney identified this week, which has started this entire conversation: Freeman only plays first base. If his defense at first base declines to the point where he can no longer hold the position, the designated hitter spot, the natural landing spot for an aging first baseman, is permanently occupied by Ohtani through 2033. As Olney wrote, he's got 2 years left on his Dodgers contract, and with Shohei Ohtani entrenched as LA's designated hitter indefinitely, questions might emerge next season about where Freeman will finish his career. For now, in 2026, there is no problem. Freeman plays first base. Ohtani DHs. The lineup is perhaps the most dangerous in baseball history. Everyone is happy. The problem arrives in 2028. In 2029. In 2030. When Freeman is 38, 39, 40, and if he can no longer play first base at an elite defensive level, there is simply no position for him on this roster. To understand why this hurts, you need to understand what Freeman has said publicly about his future. At Dodgerfest in January 2026, Freeman told reporters he wants to play 4 more years. He wants to retire as a Dodger. He said, "I love being here. I'm from Southern California. I've had a great time with fans. I'm not worried about another contract. I have 2 years left. I'm just an employee, I just do my job, and if they want me back, they want me back." That quote, "If they want me back, they want me back," tells you everything. Freeman knows the situation. He is not being naive. He understands the roster complications. He is simply focusing on what he can control, playing baseball at the highest level possible, and trusting the Dodgers to find a solution. But there is another layer to why these next 2 years matter so much to Freeman. The 3,000 hit milestone. Freeman enters the 2026 season as the active MLB hits leader, with 2,431 career hits. He needs 569 more to reach 3,000, one of the most hallowed milestones in baseball, achieved by only 33 players in history. The most recent was Miguel Cabrera in 2022. At his current pace of roughly 181 hits per season, Freeman would need approximately 3 more full seasons to reach the milestone. That means his contract with the Dodgers through 2027 gets him close, but not there. He would need at least 1 more contract, with some team, to finish the job. The goal is not just the hits number. Freeman has spoken about wanting a .300 career batting average. He is sitting right at .299 entering 2026. If he reaches 3,000 hits while maintaining that average and adding to his current 367 home runs, which could approach 400 by 2027, he would join an extraordinarily rare group. As MLB.com noted, reaching 3,000 hits with 400 homers and a .300 average would make him only the 5th player in history to achieve that combination, joining Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Stan Musial, and Miguel Cabrera. That is Inner Circle Hall of Fame greatness. That is a legacy beyond 2 World Series rings and 2 walk-off home runs. And the question now is whether he can chase that legacy in Dodger blue, or whether Ohtani's presence will eventually push him to finish that chase somewhere else. Here is where the story becomes slightly more hopeful, but only slightly. Andrew Friedman, the Dodgers' president of baseball operations, has spent over a decade in LA building one of the most successful franchises in modern baseball history. He has re-signed Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, Max Muncy, and Will Smith. He has a track record of keeping cornerstone players when the metrics support it. Friedman has also hinted publicly that Freeman could remain connected to the Dodgers even after his playing career ends. Comments about Freeman being a Dodger for life have circulated, suggesting the organization views him not just as a contracted player but as part of the franchise's identity long-term. The optimistic scenario looks like this: Freeman stays healthy, continues hitting above .300, plays strong defense at first base through 2027, and the Dodgers find a way to offer him a short extension, 1 or 2 years, so he can retire in LA and chase his milestones in Dodger blue. If his WRC plus stays above 130 and he plays close to 150 games, the Dodgers would be hard-pressed to let him walk for nothing. The pessimistic scenario is the one Buster Olney outlined. Freeman's ankle, he underwent surgery after the 2024 season, has already been a concern. He was limited to 147 games in each of the past 2 seasons. Father Time does not make exceptions, even for players who hit walk-off home runs in the 18th inning of World Series games. And if his range at first base deteriorates to the point where the Dodgers can no longer pencil him into the lineup every day, the DH door, the one that could keep his bat in the lineup regardless of his legs, is permanently closed by Ohtani's contract. One additional complication: the Dodgers have a top prospect, outfielder Josue De Paula, who many scouts believe will eventually need to move to first base as his career develops. If De Paula forces his way onto the roster around 2027 or 2028, Freeman's path back to LA narrows even further. Strip away all the contracts and the roster projections and the statistical milestones for a moment. And consider just the human story here. Freddie Freeman is from Southern California. He grew up in Orange County dreaming of playing for a team like the Dodgers. He came home in 2022. He played through a badly sprained ankle in a World Series to hit the greatest home run in Dodgers history. He came back a year later and did it again, in the longest World Series game in a generation. He said after that second walk-off, "You can change people's lives, and create memories." He has done exactly that. Fans tattooed his swing on their bodies. A fan told him that witnessing his 2024 Grand Slam in person with his kids was so moving that he gave up drinking. These are the kinds of moments that define a player's relationship with a city. And now there is a real possibility, not certain, not inevitable, but real, that when Freeman's contract expires after 2027, the Dodgers will not be able to bring him back. Not because they do not want him. Not because of anything Freeman has done wrong. But because one of the greatest players in baseball history signed a 10-year deal to play a position that Freeman physically cannot move to. Freeman's own words capture the quiet dignity with which he is handling this. He is not demanding. He is not pressuring the front office. He is simply playing baseball. Showing up every day. Trying to play 162 games. Fighting for his spot the only way he knows how, by hitting the ball harder than anyone thinks a 36-year-old can. "I'm just an employee," he said. "I just do my job." 2 walk-off home runs in back-to-back World Series. The only player in baseball history to ever do it. A 6-year career in Los Angeles defined by consistency, clutch moments, and a connection with a fanbase that goes beyond statistics. A man who grew up dreaming of wearing Dodger blue and came home to win 2 championships. And now, at 36 years old, with 569 hits to go until immortality, Freddie Freeman faces a situation that no amount of clutch hitting can fully solve. His contract expires in 2 years. The DH spot is taken through 2033. His legs, not his bat, which remains among the best in the National League, are the variable nobody can control. The Dodgers love him. The city loves him. He loves both of them back. But Shohei Ohtani is there. And Ohtani is not going anywhere. What happens next will depend on Freeman's health, his defense, the Dodgers' roster construction decisions, and whether Andrew Friedman can find a creative solution that keeps one of the most beloved players in franchise history in the place he has always called home. For now, Freeman is doing what he has always done. Showing up. Preparing to play 162 games. Hitting the ball. Trusting the process. The man who hit a walk-off in the 18th inning of a World Series is not the type to give up without a fight. But for the first time in his Dodgers career, for the first time since he came home to Southern California, the battle he faces might be one that no swing of the bat can win.